Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Witness me! That was a nice sound effect.
Thanks, man. That
Yeah.
was a nice introduction.
Thanks.
Yeah. We saw Furiosa this weekend.
We sure did. It was our first movie we've ever seen together. It was cool.
Yeah, those reclining seats. Yours wasn't plugged in. That was interesting.
To say the least. Yep.
It was weird because you lifted the chair, and I thought, how the hell is he lifting this chair? You're not supposed to be able to move these. I guess it was not secured down.
That too. It was not. But hey, they do things different in Fairfield, I guess.
Yep. Just a perk of going to the Bay Area Open, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This time we hosted the Bay Area tournament, and FLG was not a part of it whatsoever, even though they said they were going to be. So, that's a thing. So we ran a tournament at Mad Alpaca Games, the Bay Area Championship, which I think this is its fourth or fifth year. And it was a blast. It was one of my favorite tournaments that we've ran, at least in the sub 50 category.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a lot more people than I had originally expected, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for more people playing Kill Team more often. We had some old faces, some new faces. I was excited to see new people.
It was super cool. It was really cool to go back up to the Bay Area since December and see how much they've grown, right? Some of the people that we were expecting to come weren't there, and then some people that we were expecting to be there were there, and then they brought new people. And then there was just other people that were just there, which was really cool to see so many new people, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was a great time. Typically the Bay Area Open is a good time. I think it's struggled with attendance in the past, and this is our first year running Bay Area. It was an amazing time. So I definitely can't complain.
I can't complain either, but I have a question for you. Why do you think it's never been as successful before?
It's over Memorial Day weekend. So typically Bay Area Open has always, in my opinion, struggled because not only is it over Memorial Day weekend, but it's also in a rather expensive city. Typically it's in like San Francisco. It's at the San Francisco airport, right? And then also it's really poorly advertised.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't hear about it at all.
FLG really depends on TOs to advertise their own tournaments, right? And it's really difficult to advertise for Kill Team. You can really only do podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, maybe, right? And then like of those people, how many people are actually going to go out to a tournament, right? It can be rather difficult to until you've built a community, right? It can be rather difficult to get people to do that. And then on top of that, there's a lot of traffic typically going up to the Bay Area during Memorial Day. Like California is notorious for traffic, absolutely notorious. And this year we ran it in Fairfield instead of Bay Area, which proved to be its own issues. Didn't realize it was the town right above Napa Valley, which if people that are not familiar with California, Napa Valley is very, very prominent out here for wine. So every hotel was pretty much booked in a 3 to 4 city mile radius, 3 or 4 city radius, which, they're like 15, 20, 30 miles apart. Right. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy to say the least. I had to sleep in an Airbnb. Where'd you have to stay?
We stayed at a Motel 6 because I tried so many different Airbnbs. There was a handful that Alex and I were looking at. We're going like, this is fake. There's no way this is real. And I was right. It was not real. And it was coming to the end of the week. Like we were in the last week, like right before. And I thought I have to get us something. So I checked the Motel 6 and they had a space. So I got the space. And I think we would have paid a little bit more than if we had done like individual rooms at an Airbnb, but it wasn't.
How much was it? Was a Motel 6? This is how crazy the prices were inflated.
Rounded up about 600. Let's just say 680
for 2 days, right?
For 2 days with 4 people.
It's insane. At a Motel 6?
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. I luckily got an Airbnb for $73 a night, which was nice. But definitely, if we do the same thing in the next year, we will definitely be telling people to buy hotels early and or Airbnbs. I had a great time in my Airbnb. So
yeah, I would have liked to have maybe like a home, like a house with more people, and then everyone travels in. I think it'd be a lot easier than, doing the Motel 6 or something.
Absolutely. At least you guys were close to the venue, though. I was about a 7-minute drive, which it's not bad.
That's not bad.
Considering like in LA, like we don't get a hotel and then it's like a 45-minute drive, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so it was rather an interesting one for us. I think we drove up to Mad Alpaca Games, and there was a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that was supposed to end at 9:30 at night. We got there at 6 and didn't end until midnight. And so we could not set up any terrain. We were luckily able to set up the stream. And if anyone wants to catch that, you can catch it on Twitch, the rerun. And we'll put it up on YouTube here really soon, along with LVO. But yeah, it was fascinating to, like set up pretty much everything that we could, go out and eat, tell us that we'd be done at 9:30, come back at 10:30, still nothing, wait around for an hour and a half, get impatient, start doing other things, and then set up after the store completely closes.
Right. I mean, it was cool that the manager at least like stayed open for us to let us finish it. And,
I mean, we were there for 6 hours. I would hope so.
Thanks to Sri and Kyle for coming in at the end there, helping us out, just push the last of us. So that was what, 6 of us? Because we had John, we had Alex, you,
John Boudreau from KDF Fight Club.
Yes.
We had Alexander Popov, yourself, me. We had Sri, who did really well in the tournament.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
And Kyle. So all bitching aside, outside of that little hiccup, the event went super, super smooth. And Mad Alpaca Games was really, really
accommodating.
Yeah. They were really accommodating.
They were really accommodating, which they were last time too. I think they've always been really accommodating. It's actually really, really nice to run a tournament at their store. So if you're in Fairfield and are looking to run any kind of thing, I would suggest looking at there or at their second venue, since they did open a second one.
I don't know what their second venue is called. It might still be called Mad Alpaca Games, but it's 45 minutes north, really close to Sacramento. So make sure you check that out. The owner, Zach, is a badass. And I think that the store is really, really nice too. So,
you love to see it.
It was a good time, and it was, like I said, it was one of my favorite tournaments that we've ran so far. Below 50 wise, at least, players. But anytime we go to the Bay Area, a fuck ton of Felgor come out. I'm not going to lie. This place, has the best Felgor players in the world. These guys come out here. And of course, I will say, excluding Orion, I think California is a Felgor hotbed. I'm not going to lie. Kel team plays, a bunch of different people in Kel team plays Felgor. And I think Ezekiel brought him this time. Jimmy did not play him. But they brought him up. We had how many Felgor players? 4 or 5?
4, I think. Which is still saying a lot,
Yeah. Yeah, we had 4 Felgor players in a 35-person tournament. Which a couple people dropped round 1, but
it does happen,
It sure does. And then we had I think 29 total players that stayed throughout the entire time. They no one dropped. So.
Right, which is pretty good after because you always expect in tournaments to have an initial amount of drop offs. That's normal. I don't think I've ever been to a tournament where there wasn't some amount of drop off.
Yeah.
I think it's rare that they wouldn't have that. Even some of the bigger ones like 40K and AOS. But everyone, like you just mentioned, except for I think at one point Ezekiel went to take a nap in the last round, right?
He did. He had the bye and he bounced.
That totally makes sense. But otherwise, yeah, everyone stayed all 6 rounds. There wasn't any moment of like, I'm out of here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which was awesome. I mean, we had some people, Alex and Art, is that correct? Am I saying their name right? From Chicago?
Yeah, we had Alex Rutnarak and Art Rutnarak. They are Chicago natives. They were really big in the last edition of Kill Team. In fact, Alex got top 8 playing Eldar in 2020, the year that I went. I think he got 4th. And him, Janice, and Michael T. Holy all placed in Eldar. My Skinner tied with me at 8th, kicked me out of it because of strength of schedule. Skinner, I love you. I'm always going to hold it against you. No, but in actuality, it's really cool to see them traveling out, coming to an event and playing. They've been looking at this edition for a while now, so it's cool to see them officially jumping in head first. So, and man, those two are good. It's cool. It's cool to see them back at their first tournament in 4 years. I think they were playing 40K and then come out and just be really good. And then Alex winning a bunch of sportsmanship votes. Really, really cool. Alex ended up placing pretty well and getting our Warp Traveler award. I think he placed 8th. And
he did, yes.
And taking it to getting
points, yeah.
Well, I mean, getting the Warp Travel Award, I think that's a really fun award that we've developed this year. People who travel long distances, whoever does the best, gets the Warp Travel Award, gets to come up, get the medallion, and then pick something off the table. Pretty cool, pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a cool appreciation for the people who take the time to fly out over here, which I always appreciate because I think that's awesome, right? That's the way these tournaments and the scene lives, is if people keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it was cool. So day one, basically, we set up, got back to my Airbnb around 1:30, went to sleep, woke up, got to the store around 9:30ish, and they let us in. They let us in early, which was nice of them. Set everything up, or set up what was left, and we started the tournament at 10:30, played a few rounds, and afterwards, a big group of us went out to Outback Steakhouse, eating bloomin' shrimp off the Barbie.
Is that what you had? You had bloomin'
with
shrimp?
our razor blades,
razor blades.
These fucking cunts out here. Sorry, I can't. I haven't been around Australians in a very long time. I can't do the Australian accent anymore.
Put another shrimp on the babby. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure that all of the Australians are gonna.
My condolences.
Are gonna laugh at us. I'd like to see you do a Southern accent though. But yeah, we went to Outback Steakhouse, had a couple steaks, and then we went and saw Furiosa. What was your thoughts on Furiosa, man? That was one of my highlights, dude. That shit was sick.
Like I said when we were at the theater, I love movies that go over the top and really go real extra with their world and the building around it, and then play it into realism. Like it's 100% real and no one breaks character. That's just life. And that sells a movie for me so much. It makes me care about a lot of the characters, and they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I rarely want to go back to the movie theaters and see a movie again, but this is one that I've been debating on going back and seeing again. I enjoyed it so much. I think Chris Hemsworth as the main villain. It was really when he first comes in, he's like, I was like, what is Thor doing in this film? Right? Like literally, like what is he doing in this film? And then it turned out he was like definitely not Thor.
No, quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite. And then the two actresses who played Furiosa, Anya Taylor-Joy, and the younger child,
Charlize. Oh yeah, the one they got for a kid. Yeah, they look pretty similar.
They did, and they did a great job. Like the acting in it was superb. I loved the chemistry between the two characters on the set. Very believable, and I can't complain about flying motorcycles and flying squids. I can't complain. If you guys were like, what the fuck do you mean flying squids and flying motorcycles? Go watch the damn movie. I don't know how it's doing so bad in the box office, right? If I can call to arms all the Kill Team community to go watch like an orc movie and just pretend that all these people are green, you'll be like, wow, these are really actually just orcs and Gretchen, because there's literally Gretchen in the movie. If you think about it from an orc's perspective. Yeah, it's a fabulous movie.
It's a fabulous film. Please go see it. I think that's it's our early summer blockbuster, because we're still going to have a summer blockbuster, but that one's a good one. Yes, that was day one. That was a lot of fun. I want to point out that Outback Steakhouse was a little bit salty. Like their food was really salty. And
the waiter was a fucking piece of shit. He was like, why are these people coming in? And yeah, it was I didn't like him. He was not cool.
I like to think he must have been having a tough day. It couldn't have just been that.
He definitely was not Australian, because Australians are typically way chiller than this dude. This dude was like, yeah, fuck that guy.
He was in-house steakhouse. But yeah, so that was fun. Day two, more a lot of the same. Very exciting. Everyone's still in high spirits doing the ceremony.
Not a single drop,
Not a single drop. But man, some of the people getting to the top and what they had brought with them, like I got the top 8 in front of me.
Yeah, Austin. Gee, you said to me on the podcast multiple times. How many times have I said Nemesis Claw is S tier?
Too many, and I have said they were B tier, and I gotta admit, like we look at the scores. Let's just say it now. Let's just get the top one out of the way. You want to say it?
Jimmy Kelly won the whole event with Nemesis Claw, first place.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And now you watched the whole thing, and he was on the last two
games. Of the streams. Yeah. Right? If you want to catch him, it's on our Twitch channel, Squad Games Entertainment. You can find that. Link will be in the description. But he's killing it, and he's a very respectable player too. He let a lot of people take back stuff if they ask. Because he's still confident with his ability to make the right moves, and he knows this team. Now I gotta point out Mr. JK, the Jelly Man himself.
Mm-hmm. Kimmy Jelly.
This man is just good at the game, because I still think Nemesis Claw is B tier. Like Jimmy Kelly and Austin Lewis, they take the team to another level, but I don't think a lot of other people will. They'll still do good, but I think these two just I would say they're A tier. They have the tools to be there. I don't know if S tier, but they had the tools to bring it home and win.
This was close to a major, and I think that if it was a major, if we did hit that 40 mark, I still think Jimmy would have taken it with Nemesis Claw.
Yeah, he just knew his stuff, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ben Campbell from Battle Brothers Tabletop just put out a Nemesis Claw video as well. If you guys want to check that out, he's a homie of the channel, so go check his video out. He hasn't posted in a while, so go give him some love. But Nemesis Claw, I think, is a fabulous team, and I think in the right environment, it can thrive really, really well. Like there was 4 Felgor, which is over 10% of the players. Elites are always going to be good into that. We had a lot of chaos, like a lot. How many legionaries?
I want to say maybe 5 and then Nemesis Claw was 6.
We had 3 legionaries.
3? Okay, I thought it was more.
We had 4 Nemesis Claws.
I thought it was 6, huh?
And then we had 4 Felgor, which is 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 players. No intercession. Couple novitiates, which is actually a bad matchup for Nemesis Claw. But I feel like the novitiates really struggled against the Felgor Ravagers. They did not perform well into Felgor, nor have they ever, right? So,
and I was surprised not to see as many mandrakes or even a mandrake player making in top 8.
Yeah, there were 4 mandrake players. So we had Kyle Norman, Rick Cohen, Nicole, and Dylan B. All of those players did get sportsmanship votes. But yeah, I don't think mandrakes. I think Dylan got 10th, and that was the best mandrake player done. So I think that we're starting to see, even though they had a 44% win rate with Nemesis Claw before this weekend. I think Jimmy Kelly, Austin, Wyatt from the Bats, and are definitely trying to make sure that they do not get a buff. Because I can tell you what, Nemesis Claw does not need them. It was very interesting watching Austin's and Jimmy's game, where I think that Jimmy's much more of like a controlled player, and then Austin is very much more an aggressive Turning Point 1 player. And then seeing I think Austin's very first activation, he moved up, opened a door, and double shot his bolt gun into and killing the other bolt gun guy, like heavy bolter guy. If I can remember, like right away. And then the very next activation, Jimmy was like, cool, I'm going to move my plasma up and kill us. And Austin's like, I'm going to Vox Scream that. And then Austin's like, now I'm going to move my guy away and have him run away. And then Jimmy was like, I'm going to Vox Scream him.
Honestly, that was happening so often. Like I would see him go, oh, I'm going to use Prescience to get a command point. And I knew all he was doing was, I'm about to do the Vox Scream next turn, so I need 3 command points. Like, because he wasn't using command points for rerolls. No, he was just using it for Vox Scream, which makes sense. Vox Scream is actually a really strong power outside of in Midnight Clad, which people were forgetting to do a lot of the time, by the way.
I bet.
Or Jimmy Kelly, I think he was telling you that, right? That he had forgotten to use in Midnight Clad for the first few rounds.
I'm sure that he did. I think he told me, I called him and he told me that he only had 1 practice game with Nemesis Claw. And that's it. He played him once and was like, these guys are good. I'm going to take him to Bay Area Championships. And then he wins it. He's a fucking legend.
You know, and in both times I saw Jimmy up there. Maybe it was different when he played on the regular tables too, but I don't think he ever took the poison guy, who I cannot remember his name right now.
Oh, he didn't?
I don't know. He was taking double. Well, I guess both times it was against elites, so he was taking double gunners, 1 plasma, missile launcher, or a heavy bolter.
That's fair. That's fair.
Which makes sense, like, you know, because then everything else still it's gonna kick butt.
Yeah, so he played against Mandrakes. He beat Chris Baki's Blades of Cain. And then he played Justin. What did Justin play? Oh, he played Vetguard, beat Vetguard. So he beat Vetguard, then he beat Mandrakes, and he beat Blades of Cain. Then he beat Star Striders, and then he beat Nemesis Claw, and then he beat Legionaries. And Legionaries was battling for first place. And Cherie unfortunately fell to 7, losing that final matchup.
It was just rough at the end there. Like, you know, Jimmy pulled it out. You know, I was thinking he was going to lose.
I definitely feel bad for Cherie. He had to play like 4. I think he had to play every single Nemesis Claw. And then he had to play against so he played all 3 Nemesis Claw in 6 games, and he played a Legionary mirror match. So he only got to play 2 non-elite matchups.
Right. When in theory he should be running into more of those than anything else.
Yeah. So this was definitely a very interesting tournament. We had Artem from the Gobnobs. I think this is his first time placing at a Squad Games event. He took Warp Coven there. He went 16-9, 20, 20. In his last 4 games, he scored the same amount, which is funny. But yeah, I mean that's pretty strong. Warp Coven placing is strong. Chris Bakke got 3rd with a loss and a tie. I think he tied Austin Lewis on his very final game, and he beat him out because he had just a tad bit more points. I will say that Nemesis Claw can struggle to max out points on occasion because they are, I think what I'm seeing from Austin is that it was hard for him to max out on loot. No, it wasn't loot. It was capture. Interesting. Okay.
Right. The last mission was loot.
Yeah. He didn't max out on that either. I think he tied Chris on that. And then Sam Rosen took 5th with Felgor. Kellen took 6th with Novitiates. And then we had Cherie with Legionary in 7th. Alex Rutnarak in 8th with Phobos. And then we had Felgor, Mandrakes, Nemesis Claw, Star Striders, Exaction Squad. Speaking of Exaction Squad, making the top half of the tournament, let's go Alexander Popov.
Yeah.
He got 3 wins and a tie, effectively only losing 2 games. So having a really, really good win rate for definitely not an S tier team.
No, not at all. But he was making it work. I've seen some people win whole tournaments with them.
Yeah, and then Matthew Barker also with Exaction Squad, also getting going 3-3, going 50% there with them as well. Super exciting to see a lot of these people do really, really well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's what I want to see more of, is just them to come back to compete.
Yeah, and then we definitely we gave out a lot of awards at this event. So
yeah,
best painted went to Garrett Rayner. Garrett Rayner last year also won best painted at Bay Area Open. He is the double champ now. People are going to have to take it away from him next year.
Yeah.
He's an amazing hobbyist. We had him on the podcast before. It was right after the Bay Area Open last time. Great dude too. He had 2 sportsmanship votes. And here's the thing. He was playing fucking Felgor and he got 2 sportsmanship votes. Like that's impressive. Like no one likes to play the goats.
And he's getting like, oh, positive review, 5 stars.
Yeah, exactly.
It boggles the mind to think that.
Mm-hmm. And then G, do you want to go over some of the other awards that we gave out?
Yeah. So we had the best overall, which was, a mix of how good you played.
Triple threat.
The triple threat, yeah. Your painting, and then what we also do based on
sportsmanship,
which is always a wonderful thing. And if I remember right, if that one went to Mr. Alec.
It did. Alec Berryman, also playing goats. Alec is a very special person. He was the very first person that ever gave me my very first competitive loss in Kill Team at LVO 2022. I was like, I think I was 6-0 at LVO 2022, and then he took his Dark Eldar and killed just enough of my guys, and then I rolled really bad on my morale check, and my whole team broke. And back in the day, when your team breaks, unless if you're really high up on points, you just lose. So
bad mechanic from that era.
Yeah, but Alec is not only is he a stud IRL, but he's also a great kill team player. So
yeah, he's good at the game. I've yet to play against him, but if he's a member of Bats, it's a good sign that you're probably pretty good at the game.
Yeah.
To some caliber, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my favorite awards. This is kind of a new one we did. This is between Dakotah and I. We did the Judge's Choice. This one went to Nick. I'm gonna butcher his last name, Hernstead. Actually, I might have said that right.
Mm-hmm.
He came with a very stylized look for his commandos. The the colors itself were like very vivid. It was very much an impressionist sort of thing. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. And you know, like we're gonna see him improve. He's gonna get better. You know, at some point, I'm sure he'll bring a display board too to really like, you know, drop that dynamite on us and just you know, no more dogging me.
Yeah, he had a very stylized style of orcs. The green that I could see really, really well, vividly. I really enjoyed his paint style, so that was cool. And then we already went over the Warp Traveler that we gave out to Alex. If his dad would have done better, his dad would have got it instead of Alex. But top 8 is pretty good still at 30, 35, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Best super factions we gave out Chaos to Jimmy Kelly, Eldari to Chris Baki, Imperium to Kellen Foster, and then Nick Hurdiston with Xenos. It was interesting that there was not a lot of Xenos at this tournament. There was like a fuck ton of Chaos, like a fuck ton, a lot of Eldar, a little bit of Imperium, and like 2 or 3 Xenoses, and that's it. I'm sure when the box drops for the new Xenos team, what I think this weekend, supposedly they said that pre-orders are going up Saturday. So next week, that's what the podcast is going to be about, right? We're going to talk about the new teams. The rules are going to be out. So we're going to talk about them. And then we gave out first to Jimmy, second to Artem, and then third to Chris. And Sportsman actually was tied with 4 votes each, was Connor and Matt Barker with Exaction. So Connor with Star Striders and Matt Barker with and that I mean, getting 4 votes out of 6 games is insane. Matt, I think he had a bye, so 4 of his 5 opponents voted for him, and Connor had 4 out of 6 players vote for him too. So like, great job.
Standout ovation.
That is 110% the people that we love to have come to our events. So, yes. And then there's a lot of people with 3 votes, 4 people with 3 votes, 4 people with 2 votes, and then 4 people with 1. So, yeah,
everybody's being so kind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now there's one other thing that you gave to the people up in North Cal / Bay Area /
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you want to tell them about that?
So the West Coast Championship this year, we'll probably go into it more during the podcast with Cascadia. I think we are invited to join them to record tomorrow night. When it drops, no clue. But yeah, we're going to talk probably about the All Valley Team Tournament. Obviously, why not? Whatever else they want to talk. And I'm going to slip in there the West Coast Championship. So a fun thing that we decided to do with the West Coast Championship this year is we're going to be running it in the Bay Area. We ran it in SoCal last year. So this time we're going to run it in Northern California. And it's going to be a groups bracketed tournament. So there's going to be groups of 8 day 1. So however many people show up, we're going to put them in groups of 8, and they'll be labeled as the Bay Area, NorCal, San Diego, Los Angeles. If we get enough from Nevada, so if we can get some Las Vegas, so on and so forth. We're also going to do Pacific Northwest, which we're going to be helping fly out the winners of a specific category to come to this event. And if more Pacific Northwest come, cool. If not, we'll put the overflow into from the other groups into their pod. But yeah, it's going to be cool because after groups on day 1, it gets sorted into 4 separate brackets. So every bracket will have the same amount of players from each group. So you're going to have the best of the best of the Bay Area, North Cal, San Diego, Pacific Northwest, Nevada, LA, all going into gold, the second best going into silver, the third best going into bronze, and then finally the best of the best going into S tier. And every player who makes it into a bracket, which every player will get prizing that is reflectant of those colors. And that will be a very fun time. In fact, I think S tier, we're going to go with holographic. So the holographic acrylic is probably going to be the coolest. So, and then day 2 will be a 4-round Swiss between those groups. And then we're going to have 4 West Coast champions, a silver, bronze, gold, and an S tier. So it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and trying to push another third-party event and making it bigger and better as always. And that'll happen December 14th and 15th in Fairfield. This time, there is no holiday around that time, so hotels will be nice and cheap.
Yep, and it'll be easier to find an Airbnb that isn't like, okay, that guy's probably going to pay me more, so I'm going to deny this dude.
Absolutely. And the cool thing that we gave to the Bay Area was these giant tickets. One of them is gold and one of them is silver. Take that as you would. But they are a first seed and a second seed. So in your group, you're going to be paired as into a seeded format. So first seed will play 8th. Second seed will play 7th, and they'll be on the opposite side of brackets. And they'll play out. And it's almost like a double elimination, but it's cut early because there's no actual eliminations. So it's very fun. It's difficult to explain unless if you're looking at a graphic, and even when you look at the graphic, you're like, I don't understand this. And that's okay. You don't have to. I do. But yeah, so it's going to be really fun, really exciting, and it's going to be cool. And I think that's the name of the game. And here's the best part about West Coast Championship. So the first seed getting out of group, of each group, for each group getting into each bracket gets to come up in front of everyone at the end of day 1. So Bay Area seed 1 will come up and draw a group name, and all the Bay Area players are going to have to play against SoCal. And then SoCal's seed 1 will come up, and then they'll draw a name out of the bucket, and that they'll all have to play against, Pacific Northwest, so on and so forth. So it should be really cool. It should be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Hoping to get a little bit of competition between the regions.
Absolutely.
And, have them face off. Who will be the West Coast champ?
Yeah, that's what we should have called it, was a kill team face off. And then we should get what's his name?
I know who you're talking about from the movie. John Travolta?
No, not John Travolta. Fuck John Travolta.
Are you
the
trying
better
to
one?
There's another John Travolta-esque person? I can't think of that.
Well, we're gonna find out shortly. Face off actors. I can't. It's Nicolas fucking Cage, dude.
Nicolas Cage.
I would much rather have Nicolas Cage at a kill team event than John Travolta. I like John Travolta, but hey, Nicolas Cage is the guy. He'd be like the guy who I'd be like, yeah, he'd play kill team.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. Celebrities and kill team, right? So I'm very excited for this whole seed system and how that's going to work out with the brackets. I've already seen a few of the styles. It makes for kind of like this almost team aspect to it, but you know that at the end you're going to have to beat all your teammates to be the winner, and I like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for it, to say the least. And I hope everyone else is. As you guys can see, we're a little tired, so we're going to cut this episode a little short. I'm looking forward to getting some sleep. I think I got back at 3 a.m. and then I had to wake up at 9 to return a truck rental, and then I got to play with my son. And now I'm looking forward to a little shut eye. How about you, G? What time did you wake up today?
I must have woken up around 5:30.
What the fuck? For why?
That is my circadian rhythm. That is just when I wake up throughout, like every day.
Are you a cicada?
I guess, dude. It's time for me to fly. No, so like when we were at Motel 6, Alex would wake up just about the same time that I do, because that's when he wakes up for work.
Uh-huh.
So we were just kind of like, oh, what do we do now? Oh, we got to get more time. Oh, I want to complain about one thing. I mean, it's not really a complaint, but it's something that I figured they would have done. At the Motel 6, we signed in with 4 people. They saw us with 4 people. why didn't they give us more than 2 towels? It was just kind of one of those like, oh,
They also don't provide soap and
yeah, no shampoo
conditioner.
and
No,
conditioner,
nothing.
which I guess you have to ask for. Like,
It's a Motel 6.
I
I
thought
mean,
it
but
would-
you would think for $600.
I mean, you know, I've stayed at a slightly nicer hotel before, and maybe that's where the cost comes. You know, the shampoo tax. but it was just one of those things. Like, it wasn't really a problem. I just went outside the room, walked to the office, which was like a 30-second walk. Asked for 2 towels. They gave it to me.
See, when you were conked out in the car, all the boys were actually complaining about how uncomfortable the beds were. And they're like, I was like, yeah, that probably didn't affect G whatsoever, you know? And they're like, actually, he was the first one up. And now that I know it's your circadian rhythm and it's not just a shit bed, you know, I guess.
Yeah,
Or was it shit bed?
I mean, I could still fall asleep and just have a bad quality of sleep. That's always a possibility. But nonetheless, that's what we would do. We'd wake up, we'd walk across the street to the Pete's Coffee, have a coffee, Alex and I, and then like, all right, I guess it's time for us to go back. The guys are going to probably start waking up pretty soon. And so we did. And that's what we've been doing for those 2 days. And that's really the only thing I wanted to say outside of the MidSummer Mayhem, which is happening June 15th. You know, that's going to happen at Loaded Dice. So if you're looking to get some Kill Team and you're out in either SoCal or you're nearby in Los Angeles and you'd like to play some Kill Team, or you have friends who want to play Kill Team and you want to bring them over, this is our anniversary one, the MidSummer Mayhem. This is going to be our third year.
This is our 3rd year. So every year right around this time, we ran our very first tournament, and it was 7 players, including myself. Mm-hmm. No, it was not including myself. I had to be the 8th player so that we didn't have a drop.
Yeah.
And I think I ran.
Yeah.
I think, you had to play. Saya had to play. There's only like 5 people showed up. We had like Anthony. We had Alan. You know, we had a bunch of. We had James Robinson. We had Emmanuel. That might have been it. I think there was one more. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was one of your friends who played Custodes. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we all played, and I just ran like vet guard with hand axes. So it was pretty much just like a buy. Just ran at him. No shooting whatsoever. Just melee. Just melee. Fight. Mortal Kombat style. And then that was our very first one. And then last year, we took a really long break from LVO, and then we came back to that one, probably like a 4 or 5 month break, and ran that, sold out at 24. And then this year, I believe I have to go back to the store to make sure they didn't change everything again. But from what I saw, they could fit 40 players before. So we're going to bump up that number to 40. And as long as, they don't change the tables around too much, we should be able to fit 40 into that store. If we hit that 40 mark, a week before, so that gives us 2 weeks of sales.
Mm-hmm.
We will have best in factions at the event. If we hit it after that event, I'm not going to have enough time to make best in factions. So we'll just go, if we hit 30, I'll do best super factions. So make sure you grab your tickets early. It's really important for TOs. And this goes for anywhere. If you guys are playing Kill Team anywhere, always try to buy your tickets earlier rather than later. Firstly, when you buy them earlier, it's going to incentivize other people to buy earlier. Secondly, it's going to drive hype, right? And also allow a TO to, it sucks when you go to sleep, right, the night before the tournament, and then you wake up and you go from like, I don't know, let's say you're bringing up like such and such amount of terrain to Fairfield, and you go to sleep, at like 28 players, and you wake up and there's 36 players, and you're like, oh, thank goodness we brought 54 sets of terrain. But not everyone's like squad games, right? They might not bring 54 sets of terrain to a tournament that only needs 28.
And then they're just, the other players are going to be left out in the dust, and that's not fair to them, right?
It's not.
We try to be accommodating, which is important for any TO, anyone doing any kind of tournament. But we hope to see everyone who'd like to be at MidSummer Mayhem. And if you can't make that, or if you want to make that, plus you want to do something else, especially since there are 3 golden tickets at the All Valley Team Tournament. That's in September 21st, the weekend of that through the 22nd, at the Resident Inn in Santa Clarita, California.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be a fun one. Bring your friends, have a good time. Try to win the tickets if you want, or maybe you stay for the camaraderie. We go to Draconum afterwards, the bar in
Mhm.
Valencia. We have a whole fun time, and then you just chill, just have a good time with your friends, man. That's what it's
Yeah.
all about.
It's going to be a fun time. They have a really nice back area where they have like outdoor games. It's a brewery. Should be a lot of fun. So, and it's a restaurant, so kids can come too.
Yeah, can eat.
Yeah.
Well, the last shout out I'll do is, I guess the last few shout outs is you can always join this conversation on our Discord. You can find us there. You can join the Patreon. That helps us out in a more personable way. And we always appreciate the Patreon members. And we do this a lot. We always shout out Alex for some reason. And so I'm going to keep the tradition alive. I'm shouting out Alex. Whatever. It's almost his birthday.
Yeah. Alexander Popov, man, that guy.
AP,
when you guys
man.
meet him, you all know. You'll know why he's such an awesome guy.
And he is not faking his accent. That has happened twice that people thought he was faking it. How would you fake it for this long? Unless he's just like the world's greatest troll, And then, of course, you can find me on Instagram. I'm wargaming_studios, working on some Nemesis Claws myself with Procreal. I think I figured out the full recipe I want now. Been going slow on this one guy just to make sure I like what I'd like, and I'm liking it. So you can catch that there. I'll be posting on it soon enough. How about you, Dakota? You got any shout outs?
Yeah, look forward to posting next Hobby Highlander video this Friday, and as long as G gets the other one to me, the next one will be out the next Friday after that, and hopefully we'll try to go weekly or bi-weekly from there. So looking forward to just making more content, making more things. If you guys want to find out all the stats and all the details for the data slate so far, go check out MetaWatch, also on our YouTube. And then if you want to check out the battle reports, you could wait to see when it posts onto our YouTube, or you can go catch it while it's on Twitch currently. Up to you. Should be fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. I want to go witness the bed and go to bed.
I'm going to go witness me. I'm going to go play some Wild Rift and then knock out.
There you go, man. All right.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
I'm going to go dunk on some fools.
The Squad Games podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at lestersworkshop.com/squad-games.